Welcome to the week of June 30th, also the week of Independence Day, one of my favorite weeks of the year. Promise of summer is ahead of us, and it looks like the promise of hot weather is also ahead of us. Let's start this week with a high quality workout of a combination of steady state run and 2040s. The steady state run, you know well, we're working at threshold, trying to accumulate as high of aerobic running as possible. And one of the things that we're always interested in over a workout week, month, year is how much time and how many miles you spend at high end aerobic running. And the steady state run is a sustained effort because we can get high end aerobic running many different ways, but the two primary ways are intermittent with the intervals and then also sustained. And if we just do one of those, we're missing out. And that's why I like to combine those throughout the weeks, but also in this case, in the same workout. So most of you are doing somewhere between 3 and 5 miles of steady state run at 80 to 85%, or where your aerobic threshold is. And you know that because it goes from, this feels pretty good, I'm really running, to, okay, this is starting to feel a little bit too much like racing. If you cross that line, you've probably gone over it. Now we're at anaerobic threshold. And for this workout, we want to be aerobic threshold. If you go over that a little bit, that's fine. But because it's a combination workout and because we'd rather go an extra mile rather than going faster and shorter, let's try to stay a little bit closer to aerobic threshold. The 2040s are tacked on because they serve a purpose, but there's also negligible to zero additional recovery time. So anytime that we can do that, anytime that we can add some substantial training without substantial recovery, we want to do that. So the 2040s are giving you that aerobic interval benefit, and those benefits are you're firing fast twitch fibers like you would be with hard anaerobic work. But because it's aerobic, the recovery time is negligible. You're elongating your stride, you're getting your knees up. So all the relatively slow running we do all week with our recovery runs, our warm-ups, our cool downs, that stride just tends to shorten over time. Doing these things, that stride gets back opened up, the knees get up. So when you do want to run fast, you have a much better stride and better mechanics. So we're doing some great things there. If you're doing the 2040s, so you've done the steady state run, we know that one, take a couple minutes and then go into the 2040s. If after the 20 seconds fast at 800 to mile race pace, which is really hard work, but for 20 seconds it's not. It should feel comfortable, it should be smooth, controlled, you should feel awesome. On that 40-second slow-mo recovery jog, if you feel like I need to walk the first 5 or 10 seconds or more, you're going too fast. You're no longer doing aerobic intervals, you're doing anaerobic intervals. And that's not the point of this because we don't want to prolong that recovery time. So there's your high quality workout. Moderate quality workout, similar, maybe we're bridging the gap between those two elements of this workout with minute on, a minute to 90 seconds off. And that minute on should be high end aerobic. You're going fast. It's not like running quarters on the track. It's not like running 300s or whatever you could do in 60 seconds, but it is fast. You should look awesome doing this workout. It's the second time I said awesome. I gotta watch the 80s language here. You should feel really good. You should look really good. You're cranking, but before it gets hard, you're doing that recovery jog of 60 to 90 seconds. If you're gonna program that, you kind of have to make a decision before the workout. And if you're going to keep this aerobic, you might go a minute because that will make sure that you're not overdoing it because it might be warmer, because maybe you want that margin for error. Maybe go 75 seconds or 90 seconds for that recovery. Now we do have a couple of options here. It's written as an aerobic speed workout, which is typically how we'll do that in a moderate quality workout, though sometimes it'll be harder. If you're doing that, maybe you do 1 to 1.5 times what's written. So if you have 12 reps, maybe you decide to do 18 reps and you're keeping it aerobic and you're just cruising, because really that's not that much. If you think about that, that's 18 minutes of faster running, but it's not all that stressful, so not a big deal. If you do that, the caution in that is do the math with that recovery jog, because if your warm-up is a little bit too long and with all that recovery, you might find that, okay, I'm gonna be late for work today because I've overshot this on time. If, because of the time of year, you wanna hit these harder, you feel recovered enough from this workout to come down here and hit them hard, that's fine, because we are in the time of the year where we do want to do some faster running, we do want to do some anaerobic running and drive up that VO2. So when we go into half marathon and marathon type efforts and more specific training, your VO2 is a little bit higher. Now, if you're getting ready for cross country, let's keep it aerobic, because there's gonna be plenty of time for anaerobic work as you get closer to your peak race. So again, we're accumulating more time at high end aerobic, and that's important. Maybe we're doing some anaerobic work there, depending on where you are. Long run, modified aerobic threshold run. Probably for most of you, it's going to be about half of your total long run distance. So if your long run distance is 12, you're doing 6 miles at M.A.T. And for most of you, it's going to be kind of around marathon pace. For some of you, it's going to be faster than that. It might be closer to half marathon pace. But we talked about how this steady state run should feel. This should be even more relaxed. If you have any doubt at all, you should probably back off a little bit. It shouldn't be long run pace, though with the weather, maybe it is. And we'll talk about that in a second. But it should be a little bit faster, maybe only 15 seconds, probably not any more than 30 seconds faster than your normal long run pace. Now, again, you should look good, you should feel good, and it shouldn't leave too much of a recovery need. This isn't one where you get done and boy, you really feel destroyed. It should feel good, and especially with shorter long run distances for most of you on this day, it should feel like, wow, we got through this long run pretty quickly. I have my whole day in front of me, and you have enough energy to do something about that. Now, if the forecast holds with a lot of days in either the low 90s or upper 80s, the pace might not be all that impressive. It might not be close to marathon or half marathon pace, but that's okay. We just want a little bit more tension in your lungs, a little bit more tension in your legs. You should still be able to talk, maybe not as comfortably as long run, but certainly you're not down to hand signals or grunting once for yes and twice for no. It should be reasonably comfortable. So there's a good week. We might finally get, I say this as if I'm looking forward to it, and I guess I kind of am, because I want everybody to get acclimated to the heat. This might be our first prolonged stretch of it. So some good work here, but it all lends itself to relatively quick recovery and also opportunities throughout the workouts to make sure that you're hydrating and fueling as you need. Have a great week and a happy 4th of July.